All right, everybody. Welcome to my own personal tier list, my own views and thoughts and perspectives on the current meta. Where do we even start for this one? I'm gonna try not to make this too long. I'm not gonna go too in depth for every leader, but for the rows we got BDIF. You already know what that means. Best deck in format. There's about 2, maybe 3, but we'll get to that. Top tables, these are decks that I expect to see, you know, in the top 16, at least taking up a piece of the pie chart. Ideally, that's my perspective of it. Rogue are the decks that not many people may be prepared for, but you got your own loyal crew amongst them, so that way, you know, if you don't understand what they do, your opponent most likely does and can catch a calm dub off you. Locals is decks I would at worst bring to locals, you know, if I'm not in the mood to play my own version of the meta. And then the memes is you're here for a good time, not a long time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a character that you just like, he ain't really all that good, or she ain't really all that good, and you chose to play this. Yeah, you're playing the game Dragon Ball Fusion World. That's it. So, start things off in the red category. Starter cool. I'll put in the memes. He's really just, he gets red cards every set, but you're not really looking to play starter cool if you're memeing at that point. Starter Daimaku I'd put at locals. UI I'd put at locals at best. He did get some new shit, but nothing to write home about. Beerus, I'm gonna put in the memes because at one point Beerus was kind of the best deck in red, but that was very, very short-lived. I think it was like a set worth, but really just the game goes much wider and even taller at some points that his ability is almost irrelevant. Top cool, I'm stuck between Rogue and locals. I think a really good pilot could be a great Rogue, especially at regionals. But I think I'm gonna put him at locals for now. The new 4 cost that he got, it's really good. I believe it's really good, 10k combo and draw 2. But until I see some further results, especially during testing and stuff like that, I think he's just a really great locals deck. Jiren, I'll put at, I'm also stuck between Rogue and locals. I'll put him in Rogue. A good Jiren pilot could make things difficult. Maybe not so much for the BDIF, but anything not BDIF will probably have a hard time dealing with Jiren just because he has that 5k bonus. And it depends. I think the defensive Jirens are the more difficult ones rather than the aggro wake up Jirens. Starter Daimaku, not starter, but the Super Saiyan Daimaku. I know it got some new cards within the package of this set. I know they're trying to run Evolve. I just don't really I think I gotta put in locals. It's a good locals deck. Maybe a good Rogue pilot could do something with it, but I just see it fun at locals. My favorite red Goku leader, I ain't even gonna lie, UI Goku, but it's memes. Just no draw power on the flip side. There's no, the new support that it kind of got is like -3 in hand, which is against what it even wants to do. Sure, it can match high power levels, but that's really it. It needs some support. Baby girl, it's hard to play her without wanting to run the cell package, and then if you're playing cell package, honestly you might as well be playing cell, but I'm gonna put her in Rogue. I think there's a few Ionas in the world that can, you know, pull up to an event and show out with her. And yeah, your opponent might be thinking, yeah, well, this is just a baby version of Cell. It's still the Cell package, so even if they're running it, you still got to respect it and be prepared for it. Yeah, not much to say here. Cell, clearly BDIF, that's my guy. I think the meta just now revolves around Cell. If your deck is not prepared to deal with it, your deck is not a deck. I think it's just you trying to have a good time, not for a long time. But yeah, if your game plan and your deck building does not have Cell in mind, you're not building a deck, because he is the meta. He is shaping the meta out to what it is now. My current favorite red deck, Glorio. I'm not gonna lie, stuck between locals and memes. Try not to be too biased here either, but I'm going to put him in locals. I don't think the deck is bad, and I know people in the Discord chat will say different. The deck is not bad, it's just not good. You know what I'm saying? But if you find your pieces on curve and you wake up by turn 3 and just the hand just fills itself out, I think you have a really strong locals deck, especially against someone who's not fully prepared. But yeah, this is my view on the current red state. For green, I'll put Broly to locals. He did just get some new support. A 40k beat stick is nothing to scoff at, even though you do need a little engine to pull it off with the Paragus. But I think if you do get to pull it off, adding 2 energy and creating a 40k body early game, nothing to completely scoff at. Giblet, I'm gonna put at top tables. I know not many people have been playing him on client, but just being able to grow wide and aggressive by turn 3, it's really strong. So I still think one of the better decks for green that it has to offer, but I could see Giblet still topping at events. Gohan, green Gohan, I'm gonna put at locals. He did get some support and has been getting support over the last few sets, but nothing to really push it over the top yet. Maybe a good rogue, maybe someone like Phil could pilot it into some events, so it could almost be that rogue status, but I think for now it's just better at the locals. Android 18, 17 rather. I'm gonna put him in rogue. That's my guy. If you've rocked with me enough, you know this is my guy. I could have put him on top tables and sound biased as fuck. But the androids did take a set to just kind of sit down, get its patch updates. But right now I think it's just a really good rogue deck. Green, the Beast Gohan SCR just gives new life almost to ramp decks that reach 8 and they can go wide, or just summon 2 tall bodies. And androids being able to go wider on a turn where normally they're tapping 8 to remove something, but now it's like they tap 3 and can keep going. I think androids definitely could see some play at events if someone wanted to just, you know, be that rogue. So the dream for set 2, I'm gonna put him in the memes deck. If you're playing him, you're just trying to have some fun with either Cell Arena or Tragedy in Ginger Town, but it has no real legs to stand on. Green Piccolo, another memes deck. Even with the support that it got, I think like a set or 2 ago, it's your 0 heavy. The 6 cost extra, it's just 0, so you also got to find it. You also got to dedicate almost half the list to get to turn 6 in the engine. So if you pull it off, it's great. It makes for a great time. I haven't seen much green Vegeta this new set. I almost want to put him rogue, but I know he makes for a great locals deck. I'm gonna put him at locals just because it can go wide pretty quickly, and if you're not in a position to tolerate or deal with it, then he can run away with the game. Makes for a good locals deck if you just want to chill. Nameku with Nameku 2 coming out. I'll put him at locals. He could still make some noise. Not the loudest noise. It's rather a normal conversation, but noise altogether. Broly BR, honestly, I'm stuck between top tables and Rogue. Because the new support is actually pretty clean. Damn, I'm stuck. I'll put him in Rogue for now. It's a really solid deck. Goes tall by turn 4 and can create some very problematic cards. Green Piccolo. I'll put him in top tables. I think once the Gohan promo becomes more available, we'll see more of him. He is scratching the surface of BDIF. I just think the promos need to be put out. But Piccolo, I definitely just see being a consistent top table deck for sure. So that's for green. For blue, we got Blue Vegeta. I'll put him in the memes. 7 or less is just an archetype of the past. You don't even really see blue cards coming out with support for 7 or less effects. And I think they should just escape. They should just escape that archetype altogether. 7 or less in hand just does not feel good anymore. You know what I mean? So Vegeta Daima, it's really Rogue or locals. It is an annoying deck to run into almost no matter who you are, but I'll put it into locals. It's still a pretty strong deck, but another one that kind of plays into 7 or less. The ability doesn't need to be 7 or less, but it plays into a lot of factors for it. Trunks, I could also put him in locals. I think the Satan City package still works for it, but even with the new support card that it got, the new 3-drop Trunks, I think it's just a pretty decent locals deck. Goku Black, I would have had him in memes, but his new 1 cost really just kind of puts it in a space where if you run into it, respect it, because a turn 4 on curve 6-drop, just being able to have the 6-drop a turn faster in general, it's solid. And it can overwhelm the board. Like, Cell would have to dedicate some resources just to get rid of some 6-drops, and that could just be annoying. Zamasu, I think it's a pretty decent locals deck. You could get away with bullying some of the new players, and maybe even some veteran players with it, because it could be annoying. Like, especially if they're on the caliber of, like, let's say Doc. Doc makes the leader look fun, so I think just a pretty straightforward locals deck. Halo Cool, the once dominant, now being dominated. Again, just kind of plays into the 7 or less mechanic. Satan City package, while on its own core is a strong package, we just now have so much 1 cost hate and board wipes that the whole Satan City package just struggles to maintain, especially into red. So Gohan, it finally got some legs. It was a quick and easy memes deck before, but with support that it has now and support coming later, I think you're just a strong locals deck. You're pretty, you could do some cute things now with the Gohan lead. And the manga set 2 boost, It's just gonna also have a quiet buff for Gohan, so who knows where it could go from there. But I think it's just a strong locals deck. Vegito, putting him in Rogue. It is kind of in its own right a slot machine deck, because if you mill all your super combos and all your saviors, bro, you just feel bad, right? But when you don't, and you mill all the other right pieces, and you meet your curve, oh, this deck is amazing. This deck feels great. But I still think it takes some type of skill to run it. So a good dedicated Vegito lead could snatch some games off even at a regional. So I'll put him in Rogue. He's missing something. He's missing something to push him up into this upper echelon. But we'll get there. Kid Ku, I'll put him in locals. Requires strict piloting. You don't have a lot of 10Ks in the deck, so you gotta function with 5Ks and a lot of extras and try to end game without getting pushed in yourself. So Omega Shenron, I'll put him in top tables. He has been winning. I think he won one regional so far, but even in digital appearances, he's showing up and showing out. Could be a contestant for BDIF. Could be, but it's like, yeah, you can't really tolerate Cell too much. So I think top tables is fair for him. Onto yellow, we got Frieza. Getting reprinted for set 2. For manga set 2. I think I kind of want to put him in locals, because he could still be annoying. I'll put him in for locals. He could be all right. SS3 Vegeta. I'll put him in the memes. He's aggressive, yeah, but nothing really too crazy. At best, maybe he's a locals deck. Yeah, I'll put him in locals. Even with the new support card, this deck is still memes. If you run this, you're memeing. I don't care. Blood Jito says stop all that noise. 25K leaders look at you and be like, this is a free dub. So if you're playing Ginyu, it's just memes. It's just memes. I don't care. Even with the new 4-cost support. Cooler, if you're playing Cooler, it's memes. You're here for just fun. You're the guy in the group that swear he knows up and down what's going on in the current game state, but you play Cooler or Ginyu, you're memeing. Fat Boo, you're memeing. There's 2 different Boos you could be playing. Instead, you just want to fuck around with some blockers and have a jolly old time. You're memeing. Yellow Vegeta. Oh God. I'm stuck between top tables and Rogue. Such an annoying deck. Like, it's obnoxious to deal with. I'm gonna put him in Rogue. The main deck that's blocking him from success is another color within its own tier. That should let you know all of what yellow is about. They meme each other, I swear to God. But without another yellow deck existing, this deck could easily be top tables and maybe even scratch BDIF. But for now, one deck alone keeps it, I think, in Rogue, because if you do take Yellow Vegeta into events, you are dodging one deck and even giving BDIF a fucking run for its money. So Yellow Vegeta, I could see just being Rogue right now. Boo Tanks, it could still top, bro. It's still just as annoying as its counterpart. Honestly, I still consider it Rogue. Out of the two versions, him and Kid Buu, I think the better is Kid Buu. Buu Tanks is cool if you want just more pressure, but just amongst its predecessors, I think Rogue is just okay. Janemba, it's a decent locals deck. It's got some cute plays on the Awakened side, and it could be annoying to deal with, but I'll pull him in locals. He's decent locals. The short bitch. I think locals is alright for it. It's no longer a memes deck. If you were playing it a set ago, you were just part of the cult, and you played him for God knows whatever reason you had. But I think now it's a pretty decent locals deck. Kid Buu, yeah, I still consider it one of the BDIFs in the format. Yes, Cell beats it, but Kid Buu itself also just kind of suppresses a lot of other decks, especially like Yellow Vegeta. And in a way, the format does still form around Buu as much as it forms around Cell, because both of them are just what they are. But yeah, Kid Buu, clearly a BDF. It still wins tournaments that Cell doesn't. You know what I mean? So gotta consider that. Golden Frieza, a month ago I would have put this in the memes tier, but it actually does have some respectable lines. So I'll put it locals. It's great locals deck if you just want to annoy your peers, piss them off. Bardock, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's either Rogue or locals for me. The new support card can actually catch you off guard. I'll put it at locals though. Strong locals deck. Charlotte, you're memeing, because why would you do that to yourself? Goku GT, I'll put it in locals as well. It got some new support. Nothing too crazy to really write home about, but they're pretty good. Baby, I'll put him in Rogue, because a good baby pilot could definitely snatch some games even from top table players. Gogeta, I'll put him at locals, because it's kind of a mock GT Bardock build. You're almost playing the same builds you would play in these two in here, just with the chance to make a marker. So, but I think it has some cute stuff for it. Demon King Piccolo, you're memeing. Why are you you know what? No. We're changing this. This is no longer the memes. Why are you playing this? DKP, why are you playing this? Oh, it's your favorite character? Well, good for you. Your favorite character sucks, but you're here for a good time, not a long time. Bulma, Rogue. I truly believe she's a Rogue deck. I know Ice has been seeing some success with her on the ladder, getting into God tier with her. So, you know, oftentimes it is the pilot and not the deck, but even the deck itself is finding legs to stand on, even getting more support on Manga Set 2. So the new support cards that it got this set already just put it in motion, and it's just going to continue getting cards. So that's pretty crazy. And last but not least, Shenron. Yeah, it's either Rogue or locals. It did top these recent some events. But the fact that it's so slot machine is just damn. I'm gonna put it locals, bro. Just for the simple fact that if your slot machine is just coming back negative, if you put $5 into the slots and now you're looking at your tab and you're negative 100 and you still going, hey, that's all on you, partner. You know what I mean? But when the slots are hitting all 7s, this deck is gas. But I still think for now, until it gets further support, I think you're just chilling with a good locals deck. But yeah, this is my tier list. I think it looks pretty decent. And this is actual game knowledge. This is ball. You know what I mean?
Look at how I got the crowd moving. Talk to me nice. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Look at how I got the crowd